The Democratic Party in the minds of the American public are weak, to quote the great Tony Blair. I mean, just look at this. Just look at these net approval ratings of Democrats in Congress. In late February, at the beginning of the war, it was minus 41 points, minus 39, minus 39. These are the three lowest on record. Look at this. Cash they have, June 2026. The RNC, $129 million. That's pretty gosh darn good, right? But get this, the Democrats are in a rarity. The DNC is red on your screen. Why are they red? Because they're literally in the red, way down there. They're actually in negative territory. The Democratic National Committee, it's broke. It's basically broke.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So the Democrat Party is collapsing right before the midterms in real time because, for one, the party is largely unpopular with voters. Two, there are a whole bunch of reports coming out indicating how broke the Democrat Party is. And three, the party is being taken over by a whole bunch of socialist communist candidates. And if you ask Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who is supposed to be leading the Democrat Party, they'll tell you that everything is okay, that there's nothing to worry about. And to show you exactly what I'm talking about, here we have Hakeem Jeffries being confronted on the radical ideas of these communist socialist candidates. And Hakeem Jeffries was caught lying blatantly. Watch this.
I think one of the things that some of those who are winning their primaries and will likely be in office want to know is if you are going to agree to hold votes on abolishing ICE, opening borders, things of that nature. Will you?
Well, I've spoken to several of the incoming members of Congress across the ideological spectrum. Not a single person has raised those issues.
That was Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat House Minority Leader, being asked about these radical positions by these DSA socialist candidates. And he proceeded to lie by basically saying, well, these individuals that are coming in, they haven't brought up these ideas. When we know that is false, because on the campaign trail, DSA candidates, they've been saying they want to abolish ICE, they want to get rid of the Senate, they want to get rid of the Constitution, basically. And here we have one of those DSA leaders actually confirming that those are their positions. Watch this.
Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the most anti-American interviews that I've seen in my entire life. Because basically what she's proposing is to literally change the country from what it is currently or how it's been throughout history to something that looks like I don't even know, because I don't even think communist China is this radical or communist Cuba. So honestly, I don't know where the DSA, which is the Democrat Socialists of America, they're finding these people. But Hakeem Jeffries, as I mentioned before, he's trying to create this narrative that it's all good with Democrats, that Democrats don't have anything to worry about. When we know that clearly there's a civil war going on in the Democrat Party where they're calling for Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer to be removed from office. And we're going to get to those clips in a bit. But here we have Hakeem Jeffries pretending as if everything is okay, that they're just one big tent as the Democrat Party. Watch this.
The Democratic Party is not a cult of personality. We're a coalition of public servants. Our diversity of thought, perspective, and life experience, like what Bob brings to the table, is a strength, not a weakness. We are one big tent united by a shared commitment to fighting for an affordable America.
Quite frankly, there's no one to be blamed for this cancer, in my opinion, that's infecting the Democrat Party. Because if you think about it, right, the Democrat Party is being infected by socialism, by communism. And I liken it to a cancer, because what they're going to do, they're going to find their host. It cannot survive by itself. They're finding a host like the Democrat Party to be able to feed on, to be able to survive. That is exactly what is going on. But Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, and the rest of them, they're failing to realize that this is a cancer within their party. And if they're not able to root out this cancer, then guess what? The party will cease to exist as we know it. And as I mentioned, there is a civil war going on in the Democrat Party. On one hand, you have Bernie Sanders supporting all these communist candidates, and then you have more moderate Democrats, even though I don't think there's a moderate Democrat, but for the sake of this argument, you have the moderate Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, supporting more moderate candidates. And here we have Hakeem Jeffries being confronted about what's going on, the party infighting between Bernie Sanders and the rest of the establishment. And this is Hakeem Jeffries caught in a lie again, because Bernie Sanders actually responded, and Bernie Sanders confirmed that his priority is to essentially get rid of the Democratic Party as we currently know it. Watch this.
You, according to my colleague Manu Raju, have clashed with Senator Bernie Sanders over the fact that he is campaigning for progressive candidates, some of whom are challenging incumbents you back, including members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Are Senator Sanders and other progressives in the party making it harder for you to win in November? Is that what you said to Senator Sanders?
No, I wouldn't describe it as a clash. It was a candid conversation along with Congressman Greg Meeks to chair the Congressional Black Caucus PAC with respect to one particular race in North Carolina at the beginning of the primary cycle, and trying to get a sense of his approach to that race. I do think that Senator Sanders and Democrats in both the House and the Senate understand the stakes that are in front of us, particularly as we are 100 days out. And that's making sure that we actually take back control of the Congress.
So according to Hakeem Jeffries, it was just a candid conversation, that there's nothing to worry about, that there's nothing to see, that their goal is to take back Congress. And the question that I have for Hakeem Jeffries is, at what cost? But let us take a listen to what Bernie Sanders had to say in regards to this entire infighting with the Democrat Party. Watch this.
Look, this is an argument. There's no debate. There is a strong division within the Democratic Party. You have an establishment like Rahm Emanuel, who are dependent on billionaire campaign contributors who want to maintain the status quo. Then you have a progressive movement, which, by the way, what is getting these guys nervous is we are winning all over this country. It's not only Mamdani in New York City, it's in New Jersey, it's in Ohio, it's in Colorado. People are sick and tired of the Rahm Emanuels and the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment. They are asking simple questions, Margaret. Why in God's name are we the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right?
So there you go. You heard it straight from Bernie Sanders. There's a clear division in the Democrat Party where you have the socialist communist candidates fighting for control. And then you have the more established candidates that are fighting to hold on. But according to Hakeem Jeffries, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to see. And the question is, why is Hakeem Jeffries lying to his constituents? Why is Hakeem Jeffries lying to the American people? He's not lying to us, but he's lying to his voters. But let's not get distracted, because Hakeem Jeffries isn't the only one that has to worry about his job. Chuck Schumer as well, because here we have the margarita guy that went to, I believe, El Salvador or one of them other countries, where he sat down and had margarita with this illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I think that's how you say his name. Because the illegal immigrant was deported, and then Chris Van Hollen went down there, the senator went down there to have margarita with this individual. And here we have some of these socialists calling for Van Hollen to replace Chuck Schumer. Watch this.
And if I have anything to do about it, the next Senate Majority Leader, Chris Van Hollen.
United States Senator, so for working people all over the country.
And the new Senate Majority Leader.
And we need to make sure.
And I also want to show you this, what's going on with the DNC or the Democrat Party, because Ken Martin, that's in charge of the DNC, because we know that the DNC is broke. They're flat broke. They're broke right now. And the guy that's in charge of the DNC, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with him. Watch this reporting.
From a bunker in the DNC, Ken Martin sees those same commie walls closing in, and the man is straight up spiraling. He got angry and threw his phone at an intern. Quote, the phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's Human Resources Department. And it's not just HR working overtime. Where do you see finance? 99 days till the midterms, the DNC's $18 million in debt, with only 16 in the bank. Republicans, $128 million in the bank, zero debt. Democrats are so broke, they put up their own headquarters as collateral for a $15 million loan. And they're begging vendors to sit on invoices until after the election. But sure, they know how to handle your money.